Hey, Zack here from Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center. Today we are looking at how to tie a canoe onto a roof of a vehicle that has no roof racks. This is a question we see all the time. Renters, purchasers, doesn't matter. How do I get a canoe on? I don't have any racks. Well, we're going to show you. So a couple pieces of kit we need. Some foam blocks, canoe blocks in this case, a couple straps, some end lines to tie the bow and stern down. The canoe has hooks on the front or back, then we can utilize those. If it doesn't, we've got the Quickie hood loop system, and we'll show you what those are all about too. Let's find the canoe. So we've already put the foam blocks on. They're fairly universal. They're designed to attach to the gunnel system. Unless you have some kind of really custom model of canoe or something, they're gonna fit. So we want to line up, in this case, the yoke or the center of the canoe with about the midpoint of the car between the two cars. So that line that separates the front door and the back door, if you have a four-door, or at least the center of the rooftop. Have a look at how we did here. Pretty good. So the center of the canoe sits about here, midpoint of the roof, roughly between the two doors, right about here. From here we can make adjustments to our foam blocks. I'm actually going to bring these ones back a bit. Those ones I think are in a good spot. So we've got our canoe centered both ways on the car. We've got it centered on the roof here, and we also have it centered between the driver and passenger seat essentially. I'm going to be using cam straps to tie the canoe down onto the roof. And there's a very particular way we're going to do that on a vehicle that has no crossbars on the roof. I want to take a second to talk about cam straps versus rope versus ratchet straps. I personally am a big fan of cam straps. They're super easy to operate, they're safe, and you can apply a decent amount of tension without, having to know how to tie a bunch of different knots. Rope works and it's fine, but you need to really make sure you know how to tie a proper rope and what grade of rope you're using. A lot of rope will have some stretch to it, and that can become, really unsafe in conditions where the rope gets wet and it starts to stretch, or the wind just causes stretch, and that's going to loosen the canoe up on the roof. So I recommend a good quality pair of cam straps. This is the NRS. This is our custom NRS strap. Really high quality. Can't go wrong. So first thing, take one of our straps. It's going to go over. Just leave the buckle there. We'll send our second strap over. Again, just leave the buckle there. So we're actually going to run the straps through the door of the vehicle, through both doors. One thing worth pointing out, everybody always wants to have their straps nice and straight, okay? What this is going to do, though, is create this crazy vibrating noise. As that wind travels across the strap, it's going to cause it to go like that. So we're actually going to put a twist into the strap like that, and then close the door. We'll do that on the front and the back, and on both sides. So open the door on the other side. We're going to take our tag line here. I do like to line up my straps with the blocks, so when I'm tensioning it down, it pulls the canoe down onto the blocks, tightening the block in so you don't lose a block on the highway. Cam strap, super easy to operate. Press the button, take your strap, feed it in through the bottom of the cam, pull it tight. But before we tighten it right down, again, I'm going to add that twist to the line and then finish tightening it off. From here, I'm just tying off the slack so I don't have a bunch of strap flapping around. You might notice you get a little buckling in the roof. That's just the price you got to pay. I would say 98% of the time it pops right back out. If you're super worried about, putting a canoe on the roof, well, buy a roof rack. It's as simple as that. There are temporary solutions of racks that exist. One that immediately comes to mind is the Malone Versarail. It's a great temporary rack system. It's got some heavy-duty suction cups, nice big crossbar on it, some safety straps that go through the doorway in a very similar fashion to this, but it's going to give you that kind of extra support on the roof to tie your straps down properly. So the main part's done. That canoe's on there nice and secure. So that's two straps going around the body of the canoe secured to the roof of the vehicle. For a short trip, less than 20 kilometers, you're not getting on a highway, I'd say that'd be suitable to kind of zip down to the lake. If we're gonna be going any further than that or doing any high-speed driving like on a highway over 80 kilometers an hour, I highly recommend making sure that we tie bow and stern lines on. You, as the operator, are responsible for the load that is secured to your vehicle. If you feel more comfortable putting bow and stern lines on, I highly recommend it. Everyone's own comfort level is going to vary, but Safety first. In case of a vehicle like this, a newer model car, a lot of them don't have hooks underneath that we can attach a line to. So these guys here that I have in my hand, this is called a Quickie hood loop. And all it is a little plastic toggle with some webbing that is stitched onto there. So you've got a really nice secure option to create a tie down point under the hood of the car and also under the trunk of the car. If you have a trailer hitch, that'll work as a tie down on the rear point as well. A lot of vehicles will have a little eyelet that comes as the tow hook if you do find yourself in a ditch. Probably in your safety kit, you'll find this threaded rod with a big eyelet on the end, and there's a little plastic wedge on the front of the vehicle that pops out and that guy will screw into. If you don't know what it is, have a look through your vehicle safety manual and you'll probably find some information in it about that. Today we're going to use the Quickie hood loop though. I'll show you how that works. So we're going to take our Quickie hood loop, place it here underneath the hood in an appropriate spot. Every vehicle is a little different, so where it works for you, you just might have to figure out, play with it a little bit. I think I've found a couple of good spots here. So we're going to secure the hood. Pull out the slack, so we've got a nice tie down point. So for the front and stern, you can get V-straps, which again is just like a web cam style strap designed to kind of hook onto the front of a vehicle, V out into your tie down points. I'm just gonna use a chunk of rope. Here, I don't mind using rope. It actually works quite well. It's really versatile. I got nothing against rope. I just prefer cam straps for the body because they're just tougher, more secure, easy to tie down nice and tight. So I've got about 15 feet of rope. I'm gonna double up so I find the halfway point of the rope and I got my two ends. I'm gonna go around, find the carry handle in here, take my looped end, go around the carry handle and take my tag lines and just feed them back through that hole and pull it down. So now I've got two ropes. Put one through the grab loop, other through the other hood loop. From here, we're gonna tie two trucker hitches on each side. This one here is just gonna be a placeholder for a minute. Just gonna tie it off. And this one here, we are gonna start to tension. So I've created two trucker hitches on both sides. I've passed my rope through, and now I can start to tension this line in until it's nice and taut, and then we gotta tie it off. And then we're just gonna retension this one and tie it off again. So we're just gonna gently pull the tension out of this line. We wanna be mindful that this is just tied to the carry handle. It's not a load-bearing handle in any sense that, you know, it can take a ton of pressure. It's just here to act as security in the event if something happens to my straps or my rack on the roof. This is going to prevent the canoe from essentially, hopefully, flying off the roof and causing damage behind me or, God forbid, hitting another vehicle. So now we got both sides tied off. We'll just tie off the remaining slack in the line just so we don't have loose rope dangling and flying around while we're driving. So next we're going to tie on the stern using a very similar method. I'm not going to V this one out. All I want to do is just secure the handle down to the Quickie hood loop. If you have a trailer hitch, oftentimes that works really well. For the stern of the canoe, I'm going to tie it a little bit differently, as I said. I'm going to tie in a standing loop or a fixed loop using a bowline. Any knot will work as long as you have a fixed loop that's not going to slide on you. So we're going to go around the handle, feed our tag line through, and just cinch that down. From here, we go through our Quickie hood loop. We're going to tie another trucker hitch. Again, just enough pressure just to take the slack out of the line, create some tension here. I don't need to put a ton of pressure on it and risk breaking this handle. I just want it tight. So this has been a video on how to tie a canoe onto the roof with a vehicle with no roof racks. I do strongly suggest getting roof racks. They do make life a lot easier and simpler, whether you're getting something like the Versarail, where it's a temporary solution while you're traveling with the canoe or kayak on the roof. If you don't, though, it's not the end of the world. This is a very secure solution. You know, you can drive miles with that. Make sure you check your load as you drive. The 110-100 rule is always a good one to remember. So, you know, after you leave, you've been driving for a few minutes, pull over, check the load, make sure it hasn't shifted or any lines have come loose. After 10 kilometers, again, check. After 100 kilometers, check. Okay, you as the operator are ultimately responsible to make sure that the load is secure on the vehicle. You utilize a few very simple methods: canoe blocks, straps, a bit of rope, and the tie-down loops. And we've got a nice secure load on here. If you have any questions or where to purchase these items, we have them online at frontnacoutfitters.com. As always, give us a call, send us an email if you have any questions or concerns about how to attach a canoe or kayak to your roof. We're happy to explain, walk you through it. Thanks for watching.